Hosts.
Welcome to Bedford County Sports Talk Live here on Shelbyville Now. It is August the 17th, is it? Yeah, August 17th, 2024, 1 week before football season.
No, not even a week.
Yeah, Thursday. We go Thursday.
Up on Thursday.
But guys, we apologize for the intro. We've got new software and it's not working exactly right. But we are here with you live this morning. I'm David Thomas. With me is Mr. Drew Hooker, Kenny Parker, Bill Anderson. We're here to talk some local sports. Before we do, we'd like to hear from our sponsor, and that would be Kincaid
Service Company
and First Bank here in Shelbyville. We'll be right back.
Kincaid Service Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street today.
All right, welcome back in here to Bedford County Sports Talk Live. We're going to jump right in. Shelbyville football had scrimmage last night over at Warren County. Bill, what are you hearing about the scrimmage? I was there.
You were there. You saw it, boss.
What did you hear?
Well, I heard that defensively we looked pretty good.
Yeah, we really did.
We got a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
Stephen Bobo played really well at quarterback. Mason played good at quarterback, had good play there. Didn't play the starters that long. Bailey ran the football. Really good on defense. But, boss, you were there. Tell us.
Yeah, defense really looked good. A lot of bodies flying, a lot of pursuit, a lot of good tackles behind the line, tackles for losses, very aggressive. We got some young kids in the game pretty quick, and they picked up the pace. So we're pretty solid and pretty deep on defense. Offense is still a question with Rocky Chandler out, and then Ian Matusik wasn't there, so we had people out of position. You could tell. And they were getting some experience there.
Varsity was 14-0, so that was good.
13-0. We mixed the extra point. Our JV scored once. Their JV scored once. Our freshmen scored once. They didn't score any. So we went 2 with varsity, 1 quarter with JV, 1 quarter with freshmen, which those quarters, it was running clock. You go out of bounds, the clock kept running. So it was over quick. You didn't get to see a lot of football. But they went through the motions. And Warren County was having a bout with COVID. They had a few kids out, and they were wanting to just hurry up and get it over with, I guess. I don't know. They just let the clock run. So, but all in all, everybody came away healthy.
That's a plus for now.
Yeah. I mean, I thought we were going to change our fight song. Our fight song was about to be changed to the theme song from MASH. I mean, it was being considered. But It looked like they were ready to play ball now.
Hey, real quick, let's also give a shout out to our boys at Harris Middle School.
Yeah,
Coach Evans and Coach Kennedy beat Tullahoma 50-34 in their blue-out game, and they had to move the game to Liberty because there was a sprinkler issue at the high school. So that's the uproot. You go out there, it still didn't matter.
Man, I love it when any of our teams beat Tullahoma.
Anytime you can beat Tullahoma in any sport. It's a good day.
It's a good day.
And I reached out to Blake, and Blake really he was just saying that the score was a lot closer than the game really was. That he let them score. There toward the end, they had their backups in, and they scored a late touchdown against them. But I'm telling you, that offense is electric with that quarterback back there, and that offense.
He ran for over 200 yards, I believe, again.
Yeah,
200 yards at 2 games in a row out of your quarterback.
Drew Hooker, you got something special going on this year. Tell us about what you're going to be doing during football season.
Well, this is my first year not coaching in a long time, and I couldn't get away too far from football, and so I'm actually going to be on the radio this year for Shelbyville Central. Very excited about that. Going to be working with a gentleman named J.P. Plant, and he's a professional. He's done this all over. He's been an announcer for the NBA program, the Charlotte Hornets. He's done NHL Carolina Hurricanes. He also is the engineer for the MTSU ball games, works with Chip over there, and he also called all the TSSAA games last year. And so this is.
Well, I got a question for you. You gonna ride his coattails?
I am going
Are
to.
you
As
going?
much
Is
as
he
I
doing
can.
play-by-play, or are you doing play-by-play?
He's doing play-by-play.
Okay.
I'm going to do color commentary, and I'm hoping to bring kind of a coach's mentality to the box and kind of break down some of the plays and kind of give explanations as to what kind of the coaches might be thinking in that moment. And the other thing is what's really special is all the juniors and seniors I've coached. And so I get to talk about the players, who they are behind the scenes, how they are at practice, how they interact with others. And, I really just want to I guess, highlight how wonderful these kids are, both as a player, but also how they are in the locker room and things like that. And so I think it's really, really cool. I'm excited about it. I think that, it's through Whiskey Country, and you can download the app to listen to it, or you can listen on the radio. The cool thing about this is they put a lot of time and effort into this program, and I think that they're doing it top notch, bringing in somebody like JP Plant that has the experience that he does. He really is going to bring an elevation to what we do, and I'm just going to try not to mess it up. So that's my key.
Where on the radio dial is this?
So this is I'm sorry, I just want to make sure it's 105.1 and 95.9.
95.9.
So broadcasting the game on both of them?
Yep, I believe so. But the easiest way to do it is just going to be on your phone. You can download the app right out of the App Store. It'll play directly on your phone. You can do it into an earpiece if you're at the game, or you can listen to it right there on your phone at home.
Yes, and if you go to Florida during the celebration and you're going to miss 2 games, you can hear it right there.
Absolutely, and that's the great piece is no matter where you're at in the country, you can listen to it. And, I'm just excited. I think that, we're going to be the main ones that are going to be on the radio the first couple weeks.
I was going to mention that the first 2 games, if you want to hear Shelbyville football, this is the only place you can hear it. First 2 games.
And I think it's going to be great. I mean, JP has a football background. He understands the game. I'm hoping to bring a coach's perspective to it. And the great thing is we're going to have guests throughout the season. We're going to be doing an interview with Coach Dryden each week that'll be playing in the pregame. I'm also going to be doing an interview with one of the players, or maybe a couple players that maybe were highlights from the week before, or people that will focus on for that week. And then every halftime, we're going to try to have some kind of special guest. We'll try to get Dr. Garrett in there one night. The principal. We'll try to get maybe some former players, people from the community that really support the program. But we really want to just expand it and make it a good community program to where everybody that is part of Shelbyville football is involved.
Yeah. One thing from one old radio guy to another one is when someone tunes in, they shouldn't have to wait a quarter to hear the time and score.
Exactly.
Every 2 minutes, you need to be telling the score, the time, where the ball is.
And that's
the most important job of all.
I bet his sidekick has that already on his platform.
And for me, listening, we're going left to
right
on
your radio dial.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, and that's where JP, he's a he does this. He's done this.
He knows what to do.
I'm going to lean on him. We've already we're working through the 2 deep and things like that right now. We're going to be interviewing Coach Dryden next week. And that'll be playing pregame right there in Siegel. We're actually going to get on the radio a little early this week to be able to give you a good
what time is your
It's
normal?
Normal's going to be 6:30. We'll be getting on there. I think we're getting on about 6 o'clock on the Siegel game to kind of give you an update as to kind of where we're at and what's going on with the season, to give you a full update. And then, our biggest piece is we want to highlight these kids. We want to make sure that everybody in the community understands what they're doing, what's going on, and really, what they bring to the table. And this is their spotlight and their highlight to be able to get those kids, to the forefront.
I'll talk about 3 kids that, unfortunately, they had high hopes for this season. 3 seniors, all out with injuries for probably the whole year. Tyson Dunn brought a lot. He really stepped up last year. He ended up starting out linebacker, ended up on defensive line. He's collarbone. He's out for the year. Then you got Cohen Abernathy. He broke his ankle in Columbia and missed the rest of the season there. And now he's got a knee issue, and he's probably out.
When did he do that?
He did this back in a practice.
Okay.
In a practice early, about the second week. And then you have Rocky Chandler, of course. He was there. All 3 guys were there last night. They were in
Rocky's out.
Rocky's out for the year.
Yeah, he tore
Yeah,
his ACL.
tore his
in the-
ACL.
From
The
the scrimmage the other day.
Yep. He's out.
Wow.
He's having surgery real soon. And one thing that's out there is, MTSU still.
MTSU came through on this one.
Yeah.
He's still
They,
getting his
they
free
want
ride.
him. They want him.
Well,
I
I mean, and that's probably he's going to go through probably who they would.
Yeah.
send
Yeah, they're
somebody
going to help.
Yeah.
With the rehab.
They're gonna be an advisor to him.
Wow.
But those three kids right there are gonna be missed on the field. But it was good to see them last night, and they were engaging with their fellow teammates, helping them. They were like coaches on the sideline, walking around talking to them, that is something that's they're high character kids.
Well, I did talk to Coach Stratton before the last scrimmage, and he's optimistic that maybe late in the season, Tyson Dunn might be able to kind of get in there week 7, week 8, somewhere like that. I'll tell you, I think Tyson may have been the MVP of the spring game. I think he had 5 tackles for loss, and they couldn't block him. And so I think getting him back at any point would be a big boost. I think Rocky definitely, this is, probably not going to make it back. Cohen's going to be, I think, iffy. It would be late in the season, if any. But I will tell you, ACLs are not like they used to be. They have a really good bounce back time of 8 to 9 months now to be able to get into rehab. And so I think that it won't impact him in college, but it definitely is a huge loss for the program.
Yeah, definitely. But
also, the game Thursday night will be on television. My TV 30.
Yes, my TV 30 game of the week.
So you can put it on TV, sync it. I've done it before. Put the radio on with the TV.
Yeah. All right.
I do that with Mike Keith with the Titans all the time
Yeah.
because I can't stand the announcers.
Okay, let's talk about community for a second. They did not scrimmage this week. They scrimmaged last week. They're getting ready to kick the season off this coming week on Friday night. And then we had.
I will say this: Coach Grooms had he told me a few kids quit.
He's
And
had
then,
a few weeks.
and then he said, I come to work and I got 8 new ones that showed up, a lot of them from Rutherford County. So he's got like 6, 7, 8 new players that just showed up.
Wow.
But he said he was shocked.
Well,
We'll never
now
know.
reload.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about Webb Cascade scrimmage last night. You went to the game.
It's pretty one-sided. Webb's super, super athletic.
They get a bunch of new kids.
They said, I was talking to Jason Baker, who played he was a senior my first year at Sheffield. He said they had 12 kids from Canada that have moved in 2 weeks, and every one of them has a college offer. They're not all seniors. Some of them are juniors, but he said of their top 7 skill people, their slowest is running a 4.7, and they had speed.
Well, where did these guys come from, Canada? How'd they just show up at Webb?
Last year, their first touchdown was Canada to Canada.
Yeah.
So their
called
quarterback
recruiting.
was.
Yeah, I get it.
Well, they had a kid on the sidelines running a chain in a boot from Clearwater, Florida. I mean, an offensive lineman type deal. But they're skilled up pretty good. They're not real deep. He had 4 guys sitting on the bench, and Jason said those 4 just got here this last week. They're still in their inclination process.
And they got to start playing this next week. They're going to have to hit the ground running.
And that's the thing. First couple of quarters, if they don't get hurt, they're going to be okay, but they don't have a whole lot of depth.
Yeah.
And said they've only been practicing together for 2 weeks, where these people that they're going to play is a year-round program for years. But, Cascade just didn't – they looked like a total different team than I saw them against Middle Tennessee Christian. They had some linemen that didn't play. But they were even in behind. And I mean, when Webb got a step, it was points. And it didn't help that Webb got the kickoff. They went down after about 7 or 8 plays and scored. Cascade gets the ball on the second play. They fumbled it. Webb picks it up, goes in for a touchdown. So they're down 14-0 with less than 4 minutes into it. It just sort of, you can see it sort of.
How did the Kentucky signee Joel do?
Who's that?
Oh, Joel. He's played. Was it Central? Moved out there. He's Kentucky.
I forgot his last name. But I mean, I talked to
He's
Coach.
going to Kentucky.
There's a kid that's on their team, number 14. Jason said
He's the big
Clemson,
6
Georgia.
foot,
Yeah,
kid,
yeah.
6'6".
Clemson, Georgia, everybody around is recruiting him. He said he went to camps and just blossomed. Last year he was a corner DB receiver. This year they put him at rush edge, and he's
I
an
believe that
athlete.
might be that same kid. He's 6'6" and super long, super
Yeah.
fast, and I mean he's built like a big outside linebacker. And he played receiver. Struggled a little bit last year to be able to kind of understand the being able to run routes at a 6'6" frame. But I think they've kind of found that. But I will tell you, Coach Gay, he here and he told me that's their focus is Canada, that area, that Ottawa, and I forgot the other area that he was talking about, but they're recruiting a lot of kids from there, and they just don't have the quality of football in that area that they do down here. And so he's getting a lot from that area. And then, but that is a challenge for him, is because he doesn't get the kids till 2 weeks before the season starts, and they have to do all their classroom work, all of their on the field work, and get through acclimation all before the season starts. And so if they have any kids that are delayed, then they're going into the season and their first week hitting is game week.
And I'm telling you, they're athletic. Let me tell you, they are. And big up front. Their offensive line look like a collegiate offensive line. I mean, they're 6'3", 6'4", 6'6", thick, beef. Yeah,
It's going to be interesting to see how they compete with the schedule.
And like I said, they're just their depth.
Yeah.
Cascade's going to be okay. I mean, it did look good last night. They're going to be all right. They get some of their better offensive linemen back, and they'll be okay. That'll be an interesting game.
I believe Webb opens with Cornersville, and then I believe the schedule's brutal the rest of the season. Just about there might be one more game on there that's not.
They're in that division too, where.
All right, let's talk about each region that our teams are playing in. Of course, we know about their Webb situation. Yep. It's just terrible, brutal.
It's brutal.
And you can just go down who's who in Middle Tennessee football there at that level, and they're just all the cream of the crop. Let's talk about Communities region and where do they fit in? I mean, they're sitting up here against Giles County and
Sequatchie County.
Yeah,
they're in 3A.
They're in a tough region.
The thing about where Communities sitting in, I believe it's a 5-team region. You beat Giles County. I mean, you beat Grundy County.
Yeah.
You beat Grundy County. You're in.
Yeah.
And then they can play with Sequatchie. Sequatchie's probably the third team out of that. Watertown, and I'm not sure how good Watertown is this year.
Yeah.
But the cream of the crop is Giles County in there. Then you got Watertown and Sequatchie for 2 and 3, and then you got Webb and Grundy for who's going to get in.
Well, they start the year out at Lewis County traveling.
Last
year they traveled.
They do that every year. Yeah, they sort of sell out the package, and you got to have money.
Yeah,
and but they go to Lewis County and every year. But we were talking. Let's hope they're okay. They play their whole season for 1 or 2 games, and they could be third place. They could be fourth place with 1 or 2 games.
Well, I hope they take a step up from last year and get that done. All right, now let's talk about Cascades region. Who's the cream of the crop there?
Marion
County,
obviously. Fayetteville will be number 2 probably.
Richland's going to be pretty good.
They've lost a lot.
Marion is the real deal this year.
Okay, so it's going to be very similar to last year.
They were very good last year, and I think they're better this year.
They are.
All right, Shelbyville's region. I think everybody across the board has improved some from last year. I know Franklin County struggled. We whipped them up pretty good. They got all their kids back. They're a year older, a year bigger.
They've got several from Tullahoma.
Yep.
A few from Coffee County.
Yep.
A few from Lincoln County at Franklin County.
And then you look at Lincoln County. They're getting better. They're improving.
They're a senior. They're experienced.
Lincoln County is going to mimic some of the teams of older.
They're
getting back. They're getting big. They're getting physical. They've got a good quarterback.
But they're not fast.
No.
Yeah.
They are.
All right, you got
fast.
Columbia. Okay. Columbia, they lost a couple of good players last year, But they had some underclassmen that was on the field and they got the experience. They're going to be tough. They come over here this year, thank goodness.
Yeah, coaching is going to be what's improved over there. They've got a good stable group of coaches now.
Yeah.
That's been where they've struggled for the last 7-8 years. I think now they've got a really good coaching staff, and I think that's probably going to be the difference of what makes Columbia probably a player in this region.
Yeah. Then Spring Hill. I mean, we struggled with them last year. We beat them, of course, but they've gotten a little better.
They're not that much better.
Not that much better. All right, and then you got Lawrence County.
Yeah,
I mean they fought. They're tough. They're just tough. They're going to fight till the end. In the end, I think us in Columbia, we have the speed advantage.
That's a fact.
The game I'm going to say to watch for early on. Seagulls are going to be tough. They're 6'8".
Yeah,
We'll watch that second week when Marshall County comes over in here.
That Marshall County game. The thing about when Shovel plays Marshall County, it's going to be a very, very, very good team lose that game. Because, when they play,
Marshall
they
County
both
probably
gonna
has
win.
better athletes than we do, to be honest with you.
That's going to be both of those teams are very good.
Yeah, more of
Very
good.
More of the good
and they're
athletes.
well coached.
Yeah.
They've got that's one of the best coaching staffs at that level. I think at the end of the day, I think you're right. I think that second game tells a lot.
I agree.
I think that they need to use Siegel to be able to figure out what that combination is in the backfield and what kind of number of carries Robert's going to get versus maybe Nate Zimmerman or some of the other kids.
Well, speaking of that, I was talking to the offensive coordinator on the sidelines kind of toward the end of the game, and it's number 37. He's a senior. He came in from Smyrna. His name is Dallas Levine. Okay, he's new. He's been there a couple weeks. He got some carries, and he showed a burst of speed.
He can run.
He can run the ball, and they're going to try to get him on the field. So he's going to be in that running back mix too, and that helps having another body there that can tote it.
But losing the running back.
Oh yeah, it hurts. It hurts. But like you're saying, that Siegel game will give us a chance to drop the pieces in place.
It's hard in practice because you try to spread it out to be able to have good on good. Well, that Siegel game is going to give you the ability to put your guys in there now. Because going into last week, your third string running back was a freshman. Or fourth string running back was a freshman. Now he's moved up into potentially. Now hopefully this transfer or this, maybe he can step up and be that third guy.
Here's something that a lot of people out there don't realize. The Shovel's at a disadvantage a little bit going into the Marshall County week because it's horse show week. And we won't be in school that whole week, and that is tough.
What's that like, Drew?
Well, the thing is what's tough about it is trying to keep some kind of routine.
Yeah.
Because you get all this structure together, and then all of a sudden you take their school away from them during the day, and so you as a coach has to pick out: do we want to practice in the morning to be able to kind of get ahead of some things? Do we want to practice in the afternoon to keep continuity? But kids don't normally, they'll sleep in, or they may stay out late going to the horse show, and so it's very difficult because you've just got to have a disciplined team. You've got to have a senior-led team to where you can have your seniors staying after some of those guys that are going to play, making sure they're not staying out as late as they can. It's difficult. It's hard because you take all the structure away from them, and the only time they have structure that week is for football practice. And so it's hard.
Another transfer I'm going to mention is going to be a ball player for you. He's number 50, Tanner Turntime from Oakland.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's going to be a player. Yeah. Offense and defense, but really on defense.
Right, he looked really good on defense last night.
Well, they've got to figure out this offensive line mix.
Yep.
With Ian kind of being, a little bit hobbled. They got to figure out where everybody's going to fit. They've got also the sophomore.
Your tackles are going to be sophomores.
Yeah.
Both of them, right and left. Cates and Lee.
Cates. Now, he's been hobbled with a hip. And so the thing is they're going to be relying on some young guys on the outside. But their strength is on that inside. They got those seniors. They've got Tanner that's playing in there. So I think if they get that good mix, they figure out where those five guys need to land. I think that could end up being a strength of the team, which we were worried coming in because they lost so much on the offensive line. But I do think that if it gels together and those sophomores kind of step up and play to their talent.
I think that's what you've seen. I think you've seen the Cates kid. He got on the field last year some. He's matured quickly. He looks like a junior or senior on the field when he's playing.
I'm going to tell you another key is going to be getting LeBron Ransom back out there with William Bobo, wide receiver, and at corner, both of them.
I think corner may be more important right now because I think they've got the speed on offense on some of those others.
I'm just afraid
But
you're going
on
to see
defense-
Williams start getting doubled if we don't. And the thing about LeBron, he can take the top off.
Here's the thing: double them,
Yeah.
double them, and then let your quarterback run.
Steven can do that.
Double them and let your quarterback
Well,
run.
it's gonna be-
you got speed everywhere.
Well,
you
I
got
tell you what,
speed all over the field.
this is one of the most exciting weeks to look forward to is the start of high school football. I think if you look at high school football, that is football in its purest form.
Mm-hmm.
The kids are out there not because they're paid. They're out there because they love it. You can't even say that about college now. A lot of them are out there because they're paid. High school football,
And if they're not paid at this school, they'll get paid
exactly.
at the next one.
And it's hard to say this, on Thursdays and Friday nights are just fun. I mean, they're fun, and I look forward to y'all going to the games.
Yeah, and
I know you will
I'll
be. You
there.
going all of them? You going all
Always.
of them? Bill, you getting out to the games?
I'm going to go to some of them.
Yeah. All right.
This week I probably won't make it, but the home games I'm going to try. I'm going to try to get the Cascade Community. and
If I
Shelby.
got a chance to get there, my schedule.
Yeah.
I bust them all, but I'm staying in the county. Whoever's in the county,
Right.
that's where I'm going to be. Now, if everybody's out of the county,
We're going out. Although Moore County's not far.
well, I'll be at Siegel.
Okay.
I'll be at Moore County the following week. I believe Cascade's playing on Thursday. I'll be there, and
Shovels on Friday with Moore
Shovels on Friday with
No,
Marshall.
our first two are on Thursday nights.
Oh,
They're
are we?
right.
Yeah, we're on Thursday
We're on
because we have the
Thursday, both
Bedford
of them.
County training night
Yeah.
against Marshall County.
Okay, well,
Talking about Siegel, and I was talking to a couple of coaching buddies of mine in Rutherford County, and I don't know if Siegel got rated the way some of these other schools did, but I know Rockville got rated, and Blackman got rated by Riverdale. Riverdale has been out grabbing players from these other schools like right and left. I don't know how good they're going to be, but somebody told me they got 3 of Siegel's kids too.
Wow.
If they ever open this transfer rule, it is going to be the wild, wild west in Rutherford County.
Well, it'll be
And it may
interesting.
already be that way.
It'll be interesting to see. TSSAA tabled it last year, and they kept pushing it off to get more research and data. If the transfer rule changes, where everybody has the opportunity to transfer at least one time, it will start to trickle some of that college football stuff down.
Yeah.
And I hate that for high school football because as a
Oakland gets
coach,
them too.
I know, but
Oakland
that's what a
gets
coach
them
was telling me about the transfer. We've already got it over here. Look what's happening. I've lost this many kids. So it's kind of already happening.
well, it's hard as a coach. You go into it, you got this kid, you've been put a lot of time and effort in getting him ready, and then all of a sudden, a bigger program comes in and they see him at a camp or they see him at a 7-on-7, and then all of a sudden now they're transferring.
Or let's
And
say
you
with a
lose.
one-time transfer that Coach Parker's over here and you discipline a kid, the kid doesn't like the discipline. Next thing you know, he's going over to Coach Parker because you disciplined him.
Well, it's going
That's
to
what I'm
open
afraid
up.
you're gonna
I think
see.
it's going to open up way more problems than it's
I do
going to
too.
fix. Because the thing is if there's a true need for a kid to transfer, then they can do an active change of residence and
Absolutely.
they can transfer. But if it's just a situation that I'm going to go wherever the best team is, or I'm going to go where the easiest coach is, or
They can't a lot of times afford to do an active
Yeah.
residency change. Number one, financially. Number two, they probably can't find a place to live within that area.
Booster Club. Booster
Yep.
Club.
Yeah.
And then your probation.
Booster
All right.
Club.
All right, guys, let's take a quick break. We're going to stay on high school football since this is kind of the high school football kickoff show anyway. And we're going to come back and talk about some more, and then we're going to wind things up. But next week, we're going to jump back into college and NFL.
No, we won't. Next week we'll be talking about the Shovel Siegel
Well, that's
game
true. Yeah,
and
we
the
will.
Cascade
But
game
we'll go
and
a
the
little
community
longer. We'll
game.
make sure we cover everything. But we'll be back right after this, and we're going to hear from our sponsors again, Kincaid
Service.
Company.
and First Bank of Shelbyville. We'll be right back.
Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street today.
All righty, guys. Welcome back in here to Bedford County Sports Talk Live. We're going to wind things up today, and we're going to finish up our high school discussion. Drew, you guys are going to start at what, 6:15 this week? At Siegel again?
I believe we're going to start just a little bit early to be able to kind of give a little overview of the entire team, kind of give everybody an opening as to, who we feel like is maybe going to be in that starting group, who's going to be kind of the players to watch for each week. And then again, please tune in to be able to listen to that interview for Coach Dryden.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be great and get some insight into the program.
One more time, tell everybody where it's on the radio dial.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Now, I'm just wanting to make sure I
going
say
to
it right.
Siegel. Going to Siegel. Is Siegel's field turfed?
No.
They're
grass.
not.
They're
They're
the one that's grass.
There's a very few Rutherford County field schools.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like
it's
it.
95.9 and then 105.1, and then again it is on an app, the Whiskey Country app, and so that's where I see a lot of people downloading that to be able to listen at the game and things like that. And so again, if you're out on horse show break or you're out on vacation, you can listen to it right there.
One thing about if you're going to try to sync the television broadcast with the radio, you need to use the app because the app has a delay more so, and it's going to be closer synced.
Yep.
So if you're going to do that, do it that way.
But if you got the TiVo and set it right with the app, and it's tricky, but it can be done because I've done it, and I'm not tech savvy.
I love the radio. I love the app. Ain't nothing like being there.
Oh, no.
That's right. Smelling that grass.
Or even if you're there,
Moore
you
County?
can still listen to the game.
I'll be at both.
You'll
be at Siegel, and I'll be
in Moore County. Okay, so we got. And where are you gonna go? You coming to Siegel, Bill?
I'm not going to Siegel. I got to work Thursday night. I may go to Moore County. That's what I'm thinking about doing on Friday night. Watch Cascade.
All right.
I'll be at both.
I'll be at Siegel.
But talking about the games, you remember back in the day, the people would bring their headsets even though they would listen. People don't do that anymore. Back in the day,
some of them still do.
Oh, we have quite a bit of people that are in the crowd.
Yeah, y'all do take your phone and plug it into your headset.
If your radio, if the people that broadcast your games are good and sufficient, you're going to have a lot of people with earphones plugged in, pods, whatever those things are nowadays.
Yeah. Are y'all aware of any rule changes this year on the field?
I think that TWSWA did make a few, but I think they're all minor. I'm not sure right offhand. I usually, as a coach, I did that quite often, but I didn't really look into that this year. I know TWSWA had a few little minor changes.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll be wearing a white hat. So if those guys on the field need anything, I can tell them to come back. Look at me. I'm a white hat.
Okay. All right. So we've got community traveling.
What was the deal about the uniform change on the helmets? That was one big change.
What Unionville cannot do is put Unionville on their helmet
because that's
anymore.
not their team.
But they can put the U.
Their school's name is community.
Right.
So whatever your school name is, like Forest, they cannot have anything that says Chapel Hill.
Yeah. And like
Stupid rule.
White County.
White
can't
County
be Sparta anymore.
Can't be Sparta.
Stupid rule. Who cares?
You can't.
Come on.
You can't. If you're going to put it on, it has to be the school. Now
that's illegal.
That's it. That helmet could not be worn in a game.
Is it the same with the jerseys?
Yes, it can have the U on it,
but that's their logo.
That's a logo.
What about the tucking in of the shirts? How's that changed?
I'm gonna tell you. Here's the thing: you're going to see a whole lot this year. Because I was talking, I a lot of officials that I'm friends with, and I was talking at the Shepville Rockvale scrimmage the other day. You're going to see a lot of it Friday night. Is these kids with pants way up above their knees?
Yeah,
they're going to send them to the side.
Yeah, they did some of that last year.
They're going to send them to the side. If that whole knee's not covered, you're going to see that happening Friday. And they're getting a lot of that. They see it from the college where
they're wearing shorts, basically.
Like the great tight end from Georgia last year basically was wearing shorts.
Yeah.
Well, and the pants in college now don't have anything. It's a short pant.
Yeah.
And so
but they do have something. They still have to have that knee pad thing in there. But
it's just, to me, that's another one of those rules that really don't do anything more than give a lot of trouble for teams, because a couple years ago we were at Oakland and we came out and two of our receivers, their pants just weren't long enough. It wasn't that they were pulling them up; they just wouldn't go down. Well, they pulled them both out, and we had to stop and give them an extra set of pants, a bigger set, and have them changed during the game.
When I was coaching at Cascade, that rule was still in effect. I had to order extra long pants for my players that were long. And we had to write in there that this was a large, long. This was an extra large, long. You, as a coach, you got to do that. They make them.
These rules are sort of like politics, Drew.
Well, sure,
mandates, unfunded mandates.
And here's the thing you're going to see with these games.
Okay.
When they go, some officials are going to critique it different than other officials. I get it in softball all the time. Well, they didn't call that last week. Well, I don't know what they did last week, but this is what we're doing this week.
Yeah.
And you're gonna see that in the game in the high school.
How many Guardian covers on helmets this year, y'all think?
You're going to see a few.
You'll see more than you probably now at Cascade. They encourage everybody to wear it.
But they didn't wear it.
They didn't wear it during the games.
They didn't have but one or two wearing the Guardian helmet yesterday.
Sawyer wore his
wore
last
last
year because of his injury.
Yes.
He had.
And so I think that if I'm a running back where I'm hitting every play, or I'm an offensive lineman, I would consider it if I played today, just because there is a significant. You're seeing it in the pros now. Jonathan Taylor's wearing one in the pros,
but
so
they are hotter.
Yeah.
Because they're covering up where the airflow can get out, so that.
You would think that there would be a way to put a cushion on the outside of that helmet built on it that still looks the same.
If you'll notice, I was watching some of them last night, like the Chicago Bears were playing. They've got kids and somebody else, Buffalo. They were wearing the Guardian hat, but the Guardian hat, if it's community here or Chevrolet with the eagle,
had the logo.
They don't have they don't have the logo on them.
Oh,
so what they've got is they've got these skull caps that are going over top of.
I saw that
over top of the Guardian cap with the logo and the stripe and all that on it.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a rule change or not, but I think, David, we had a couple of coaches approach me and you about this, about playoffs, and now TSSAA is taking a bigger chunk of the playoff gate to the point to where now you conceivably can host a playoff game and lose money.
Yeah. I've always said,
and it's going to be even worse now.
When you go to the playoffs, that's a fact. You get your money in a lot of places they don't have it in your concessions, but financially, you were almost better off going on the road because they pay you so much a mile. They give you a road expense. But when you host a game, people think, man, look at all this money coming in. We're making money.
I believe they doubled what they're taking, the percentage.
Yeah, but that might be the case, but the whole school still got to pay the security. Mm-hmm. They still got to pay. Well, TSSAA now pays the officials. So the whole school doesn't pay the officials in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But in a home game, the whole school has to pay for security, pay for people the tickets, ambulance, officials, striping the field. And
I'll tell you another one too. We went to live stream 3 or 4 years ago, and we had to pay $750 to the TSSAA, and your radio station will have to do the same thing if they want to broadcast a playoff game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
$750 each team
playoff game.
Each team has to pay it if you're going to do it.
Each playoff game.
Each one of them.
Yeah, it's amazing the TSSAA. They've got to get their piece because they do have their part of it, but it does hurt these teams that are doing these home playoff games. I think there was a team a couple years ago that actually went to the TSSAA and explained how much they lost on the game, and of course that didn't change anything.
With what we're saying here, that affects a school like Cascade or community more than it would Chevrolet or Oakland because of the crowd number.
Yeah,
when you're bringing $30,000 worth of gate money in, and you're having to pay that,
this makes sense to me now. basketball season, you couldn't find the games during the playoff. The district tournament wasn't on anywhere. I couldn't find
because
it.
they have to. But yeah,
Jake
That's
Carr just comes on and says, "Hate to correct you, Coach Kenny, but the Guardian caps will keep your head 10 to 15 degrees cooler." I need a scientific explanation on that, Jake. Maybe there's some kind of cooling agent, or they got vents in it, or something.
I will tell you, Jake has done his research on that. That was one of the things we talked about when I was over there last year. Is he encouraged his people to wear that, especially every practice. Because we're doing so much contact to reduce those concussion numbers. But I'll tell you, if anybody's done the research, it's Jake on that, because I think that, he did do a lot of communication with that company to be able to bring those in. And Cascade, that was one thing that I thought was interesting and really great for the coaching staff to be able to do, is from high school all the way down to Little League, all wore the Guardian caps.
Wow.
All the way down to my littlest kid. They wore it. And so I think that was big, because I think it shows that the coaching staff cares about the program and cares about the future of the program, and make sure not only just to focus on the high school, but to focus on middle school, Little League, all the way down to flag. So
if I get a chance, I'll talk to my son, Aaron. I know in the NFL, he deals with their helmets. Every player in the NFL at practice has to have a Guardian, with the exception of the quarterbacks and the kickers.
Yep.
Yeah.
They all have to have them.
Well, guys, it's going to be fun to watch this thing kick off this coming week, and I look forward to sitting down and discussing the games with you guys.
Thursday night, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, Central High School.
At
6 o'clock, 6:15 on the broadcast.
6:15 on the broadcast.
And then we'll be at
Cascade
and Moore County.
7 o'clock, I believe, in
Right.
Lynchburg.
And then Lewis County will host community
I believe that's
at 7 o'clock
also.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching today.
Does Webb play?
Got to play Cornersville.
They're playing
Play
Cornersville. I'm not sure where it's at.
I'm not sure where it's at.
Yeah, we'll have to check the schedule on that. But guys,
Thank our sponsors too.
absolutely, Kincaid
Service
Company.
and First Bank of Shelbyville. We appreciate those two longtime sponsors. We'll be back again next week, and we're going to jump in to our results of the high school games locally, and then we'll talk about some college football, because that's going to kick off. I know Bill's dying to talk about his Titans too. But we're running a little long
the way
today.
they played last week, it's a sin that you didn't let him talk about how they
number
roughed up San
45,
Francisco.
Chance Campbell.